Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Dani Mattori, and today we have on two guests from the Goldfish Pond Association, Trish Greene, the president, and Ted Smiley, the planting day captain. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Of course. So you told me a little bit about the history of the organization. Started in 1980, what am I saying?
1980, yes.
That would have been really far back.
Yeah, we're not that old.
And you gained nonprofit status just a few years ago, so how's that been going?
That's correct. It's been going pretty good. Now, since we have our 501 status, we're able to raise funds in different ways, legally, ask for donations. So we're all up to date with that, and that's been good. We've been able to raise some money that way. In addition to our flea market, which is normally our big fundraiser for the year. Mm-hmm. We operate probably on about an $8,000 budget a year. Most of that money, probably about $5,000 of it will go to Ted here on Planting Day.
Yeah.
And Planting Day is in a few weeks. It's May 27th.
Yep, about 2.5 weeks from now.
Yes. Yes.
I actually picked up my first truckload of plants today. And so things sell out fast this time of year.
Right.
And when you need things in the quantities that we do for the pond, you have to kind of go early and go often and make sure you can kind of at least get something that looks good and kind of cohesive across the whole park.
And Ted is very good at picking the types of plants that do well out there, the different colors that match, the different sizes. There's a lot that goes into it. And we have several beds out there. We have a major one center bed, and then how many?
We have, like the big center one, 8 smaller ones.
Okay.
Then we have a few traffic islands with 1 or 2 beds each. And then some new ones, a children's garden, and then the one up on the hill that's for the memorial.
Right. Last year there's a memorial stone for Goldfish Pond. In the Ingalls family that settled there in 1629.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it is the site of the oldest English settlement in Lynn. So there's a stone up there marking that, and last year we planted flowers around it, and we actually got red and white and wrote out the word Lynn in there.
That's
so
really
yeah, cool. So it actually, it looked really good.
Cool.
It really looked really good.
It's beautifully maintained.
Thank you.
And one thing you said, sometimes people think it's the city that maintains it, but it's your organization mainly that does so.
Right, right.
So you're always looking for volunteers, like people to sign up?
We're always looking for volunteers. So every Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, through May through October, we have rotating teams of volunteers that will go out, mow the lawn, pull weeds, do any other type of maintenance out there to make that island look beautiful. We also have volunteers during the week, a couple of older retired men that will go and mow the lawn on the outside perimeter of the pond and the park and keep that looking nice. Painting benches. These guys do a great job. They pick up trash. It's a lot of volunteers. It's a lot of work, but we get great reviews from most people that we're doing a good job down there.
Mm-hmm. In addition to the volunteering part and getting your hands dirty, working the soil, if you don't have that opportunity at home, I feel like a big part of that group is like the social aspect to it.
Yes.
So it's always amazing if people want to be part of a larger group and maybe they're scared to get in the boat to come over to the island, or maybe they're not able physically to help dig in the dirt or do something like that. But just come to the pond, sit on the bench while the rest of us are working. It's really a nice thing to say hi to a lot of people and see everybody in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's kind of what was the genesis of the whole association.
A real neighborhood feel that you get over there when you're with the group. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so you have Planting Day, but also for anyone who wants to maybe come to your meetings, when and where do you hold those?
So those are on Tuesday nights. We post those on our website, that goldfishpond.org website. They're on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. in the park. And we take over a bench there. Anybody's welcome to come there and give their opinion, and they do, about what they would like to see at the pond or what they don't like to see at the pond. One of the running problems we have at the pond is geese and ducks. And it's overloaded with geese and ducks and people feeding them, and we discourage that. There are signs, don't feed the ducks, but people always show up with bags of food, and it's not good. And what's suffering right now from that is the water quality.
Okay.
So we're really trying to address that. There is a company that comes probably twice a month now to treat the water so that it looks decent. I think I sent a picture along that showed some bubbles in the water. This is the first time we've had that. That's, according to the water company, it's working. It's breaking down organic material. And they say that the most of the organic material is from the geese and the ducks. So we're going to come up, we have a few ideas this year about how to discourage the ducks from sticking around.
And it's not as much that they're there, it's just the quantity. There's
Yes.
so many. For a little pond of our size to be able to handle that, it's just not possible. And so it's kind of what's killing the fish and
Yes.
everything else in there. But,
Yeah.
you know,
So
it's a challenge across the country.
It is. It
From
is.
Boston
Yeah.
Common to the bigger
Yeah.
ponds in Lynn and everywhere.
Yeah, the sustainability of it doesn't balance.
Right, right,
towards the other.
right. The ducks and geese are supposed to move on. They're supposed to be here just for a little bit as they travel. But, you know, this city and other cities around have also had this problem where these geese and ducks are sticking around. And people are feeding them, and it just exasperates the problem.
Yeah, you want to tell them, no, this is supposed to be a pit stop at your
Yes.
permanent home.
Move
Keep
on.
going.
Yes.
We do have the friendly turtle that we were talking about.
Yeah, there's-
Right after our planting day, when we spent all this effort and time planting, the turtles love freshly planted beds. And usually the first moon after planting day, one of the bigger turtles will come out onto the island and go into the center bed, traipse across all the flowers that we just planted, and lay its eggs. It's kind of a cool process because it happens every year.
Yeah.
And then it goes back in the water, and you know that's how we
She-
have so many turtles.
She goes
That's
back
true.
in the water. She's laying eggs.
But when you go to the pond, you don't see as many fish now because of the water quality, but you do see the turtles in a great abundance around the pond. It's kind of cool to see, just flowers and turtles on the sun.
We get that question a lot. There are fish in there. There are fish in there, so.
Hence the name.
Hence the
right?
name
Yeah.
Goldfish Pond.
That's how it all started.
Because I didn't realize they were snapping turtles in there either. I might have maybe
Yes.
known there were turtles, but I didn't realize that's what they were.
Yeah, snapping turtles. According to one of our members who did a research paper on all the turtles, there were about 8 different species of turtles in there.
Wow.
Yes.
There's a lot of little guys in there.
Well, and he seemed to think it was that people would have bought a turtle for a pet, and then they don't want the turtle anymore, and they just bring it down to Goldfish Pond and toss it in. We do know that people bring their goldfish down
Isn't
and
that
do
how
that same
the
thing.
names came to the pond, or is that
Yes.
folklore?
Yes.
Yeah. She's a historian too. She knows everything about the history of the pond. So.
She does. She knows the background.
Yeah.
And I'll have to ask too, as Goldfish Pond, you have the island. How do you get out there with the plants?
With a boat. Okay,
you have a
most of
boat.
the work we do is with a rowboat that we do have. And it's manageable for people that aren't afraid to maybe tip in once in a while. I've fallen in once in the last few years. Ted, how about you?
Oh, yeah.
No? Okay, good for you. Yeah. Good. But we also, on planting day, will arrange for scaffolding to be put over to the island. There is a halfway point where we can drop some scaffolding. We're not sure we're going to do that this year. We're going to judge it on volunteers that will come hopefully this Saturday to help. If you want to come and volunteer this Saturday to turn over the beds. So all the beds that we were just talking about, we're going to shovel them and turn them over and get them ready for planting day so the soil's nice and soft.
And if we do have a good amount of volunteers, we might try to put a few things in the
Right.
plant it early.
Yeah.
Knowing that on one specific day, it's hard to get a ton of people, but if you kind of spread it out, then we do it a little bit. So show up
Yes.
Saturday.
Yeah, so
And planting
show up
day.
Saturday and go for planting day.
So we talked a little bit about maintenance. You do a lot of that over the summer. So how does that usually work?
We, with our volunteer list, split up into 3 different groups. So say I'm on Team A, Ted's on Team B, there'll be another Team C, and we'll rotate that throughout the summer. So I probably go out to the island about 6 times,
Wow.
which isn't a lot, you know. You travel, we
Yeah, you miss some.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. We're not
yeah.
But I would say when you're volunteering on these Saturday mornings, kind of like halfway through the summer and on, when the plants are all blooming, and you go out on a Saturday morning, most of the neighborhood's still asleep. But the bees and the bugs are all out, and the butterflies and the flowers are blowing in the wind, and it's quiet and peaceful. It's really just
It's really
unbelievable
nice.
to be out there, just to be there. You know.
That's my favorite part is maintenance on Saturday mornings. Running meetings is not my favorite part at all. Just being out there doing the work, I like that. Yeah.
You love being involved with it, and you said you're from Lynn. Ted, you're
Yes.
not, but you got involved in it too, so you both have pretty extensive histories with it.
Yeah, so the organization's been around since 1980. Gerard Dewan was a neighbor, and he created the organization and got everybody involved. He really had a dynamic personality, knocking on doors, getting everybody to come on out. You know, he'd have a wheelbarrow, and I'm sure that Ted got roped in by him too, didn't you?
Knocking on a door, hey,
Yeah.
come on out.
Yeah, so we all got roped in by him, and it's a great organization. It's one of the I'd say longest standing neighborhood organizations in the city of Lynn, and we have a focus though, and our focus is Goldfish Pond and making it beautiful, and that's what we do.
As I said, you do a very, very nice job
Thank
of it. I drive by it every day on my way to work, and I love looking at it. It's very nice.
Yeah.
And before we wrap it up, as we do have to, is there anything else that you wanted to mention, or any other things?
Planting Day,
Planting Day,
End of
May
May.
27th, 9 a.m.
goldfishpond.com.
Goldfishpond.org.
.org.
Goldfishpond.org is our website
Has the
for
information.
any information that you have, if you want to go take a look. We also have Facebook, and you can go to Facebook, and there's a million pictures there about the pond and what's been going on, and all of our events are posted there.
And really, the planting day kind of kicks off the season because you have Children's Planting Day that follows up in a couple of weeks with their own special garden. Then we have the Arts Festival that was kind of blew it out of the park last year. It was so good. And so many people have been looking forward to coming back for that. Movie nights, the flea market fundraiser in the fall. And it's really just kind of like something you don't see too often anymore. It's a really fun experience.
And we put out a fall decoration. Gerard's the one who came up with the idea of the giant pumpkin.
You used to have a pumpkin? Yeah.
Yes, and there were several pumpkins over the years. And last year we had a ghost.
Ooh.
Yeah, so, and then there's always a holiday tree at Christmas, at Christmas time. Yeah.
You got everything going on. It's
We
always
do.
happening.
Yeah, there's always something there.
I want to thank you again for coming on to talk about it.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Of course.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course, anytime. And once again, I'm Dani Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests.